So, a few days ago, Jalapeño Cookie released alongside Tower of Adventure's biggest update. And I gotta say, it really feels like she puts the word power in power creep. And if you're saying to yourself, no, she's bad. No, you're wrong. She's not bad, she just has mechanics that you need to play around in order to actually, unlock her full potential. And obviously, you gotta build her right. So thankfully, you have me. Before we start, I do want to say that I am looking to recruit people into my Tower of Adventures guild, so if you are interested in that, stay till the end because I will have more information there. Anyways, let's get started. Up on screen right now, you should see the infographic for Jalapeño Cookie. I'm going to give you a second to pause and get it, and let's move on to her kit overview. Using Jalapeño Cookie's special skill or ultimate grants her stacks of spark. Stacks of spark can be consumed by using her charge attack to enhance it, and once this charge attack is released, she will then enhance her basic attacks to do extra damage relative to the amount of stacks used when charging. Now moving on, her basic attack just simply shoots an arrow forward. Meanwhile, her charge-up attack will consume stacks of spark to send arrows that will drill into enemies. One stack will drill 3 times, 2 stacks will drill 4 times, and 3 stacks will drill 5 times. Her special throws out a jalapeno mine that will explode whenever it hits an enemy or after the time on it expires. She can carry 2 charges of this, and each mine thrown gives her 2 stacks of spark. Her ultimate shoots out a massive arrow that will pierce through any enemies it hits. Enemies hit will take an initial amount of damage and then will take an amount of delayed damage. Each use of her ultimate grants her 3 stacks of spark. And now it's time to move on to her promotions. Starting with her 2-star promotion, which is her strongest promotion, every single time she dashes, she will gain 1 stack of spark, which is really good. But the other part that makes this super OP is that the number of hits that her charge attacks will do against enemies increases by 2 at every single charge amount. Not only that, the damage is also increased. This is just this is insane. At promotion 2, Jalapeño Cookie is essentially complete. Her 4-star promotion is kind of lame as it just increases her enhanced basic attack damage, which you aren't going to be using a whole lot, especially if you have her 2-star promotion, because with her 2-star promotion, you can have a 100% uptime on her spark stacks if you play right. And finally, we have her 5-star promotion, which is actually kind of alright. So after she uses her ultimate, she will enhance her basic attacks for 4 seconds. During this, the damage is increased and she will also fire 2 basic attacks at once. But if you ask me, you really only need her 2-star promotion to make her really good. So if you aren't able to pull multiple copies of her, or you're only able to pull 1 extra copy of her, do not worry because this is all you really need to use her. Now moving on to her build, we are going to first start with her artifacts, and the first of which is her signature Aim Down Spice. Now her artifact is actually quite interesting because it is the first artifact with a crit rate default stat, which actually works perfectly with Jalapeño Cookie because her ascension stat is attack, not crit, meaning she gets a lot of value out of this artifact. But even beyond that, when we look at its ability, it's just a lot of free stats. And she gets free crit damage after using her special skill or ultimate, and because she has 2 charges of her special skill, she can maintain a 100% uptime of this crit damage. So no matter what way you look at it, Aim Down Spice is her best artifact, completely power creeping Piercing Light on him. This artifact is honestly just insane, as it is even Lemon Zest's best artifact. She gets free elemental damage when she just uses her basic attack, but speaking of Piercing Light, it is her second best artifact. So if you have yet to pull any copies of Aim Down Spice, you can throw Piercing Light on her and you will be okay for a while. Which is a ton of free attack, by the way. Her kit's main mechanic is her charge up, and she is doing this constantly, meaning she is always going to have the sharpshooter attack bonus. While Aim Down Spice does completely power creep it, Piercing Light isn't a bad artifact as it is, again, just a giant stat stick. The last epic artifact I want to talk about is Sunset Pursuit. Now this artifact is really only just okay on her because the stacks run out so quickly and she just can't fire that many arrows that fast to have a 100% uptime of it, unlike Lemon Zest with his charge. So if you just don't have either of the previous artifacts mentioned, you can run Sunset Pursuit. But that doesn't mean it's useless because each hit of her charge up drill attack does proc Bounty Hunter. And even if she could, she loses special skill damage and ultimate skill damage because they just aren't going to have the attack bonus because the stacks are going to expire by then. Before we move on, there are 3 rare artifacts I want to touch on. Lonesome Moonlight, Warrior's Oath, and surprisingly, Artistic Flourish. But I do think that a majority of players have at least one of the 3 ranged artifacts, but if you don't, then I would recommend Lonesome Moonlight out of the 3 usable rares. Now, I don't want to talk about these for too long, but I do want to say that Lonesome Moonlight is the best of the 3, and then Warrior's Oath after that, and then finally Artistic Flourish. All 3 of these can be used. Lonesome Moonlight, you ideally want to lose some HP before, you know, if it's like Infinite Labyrinth, lose some HP before you start the round. For Warrior's Oath, you really only want to use it in full fire teams, and Artistic Flourish is usable, but I would still recommend the other 2 over it. Now moving on to weapons, her best weapon is obviously her unique Blazing Pepper crossbow. This is the same song and dance as every other fighter. It gets attack, total damage. If it's on the cookie it's designated for, you know, it's just good. And considering how strong she is, this is definitely worth crafting if you like her enough. Now moving on to epic weapons, Boomerang Candy and Baguette Staff are pretty much the same. They both are related to crit, which is obviously good. After that, you have the Golden Orange Taco Spear, which gives attack, but I would still recommend the 2 crit artifacts over it. And finally, you have the Fragrant Laurel Bow, which I would not recommend, but it is usable if you don't have any of the other 3 available. Next up, we have our super epic equipment sets. First off, the new Suspicious Hunter's Garb is her best set by far. The pieces give basic attack damage, crit rate, and crit damage respectively, and this set is a game changer for all basic attack focused cookies, like Jalapeño. Now this set isn't craftable yet, but it should be available during the next champion raid season, so make sure to pick it up if you want to use Jalapeño at her full potential. Not only are the stats of the individual pieces just really good, set bonus gives 20% attack and 15% more basic attack damage after using a special skill, which Jalapeño Cookie will be doing a lot, and again, she has a 100% uptime on this. So the set isn't actually craftable yet, so I doubt that many people have it, but it will be available as a reward for next season's champion raids, which will be elemental champion raids, by the way. So make sure you pick this set up because it is just going to be great on so many cookies. It is just like a massive increase. But her current best set is going to be the Fire Demon set. I don't think I need to explain a whole lot why. It just gives a ton of fire attack, fire damage, yada yada yada. Now you might be confused because on someone like Lemon Zest, Sugar Feather is much better than the elemental set, but for Jalapeño that's different because her multipliers A are higher and B, her drill does a fewer number of attacks, meaning she gets less chances to actually proc the Sugar Feather passive, so Fire Demon is just overall the better option. But finally, we do have the Sugar Feather set, which gives tons of free damage, just like the Fire Demon set, but you also have the passive where you get elemental damage, and then your basic attacks have a chance to do 50% of your attack as additional damage. Great passive, but unfortunately, this set is going to get sacked on a lot of cookies by the new Suspicious Hunter's Garb, so that's really unfortunate. But do not fret, if you don't have a full Fire Demon set right now, Sugar Feather is 110% usable. On to the epic equipment. For headpieces, the Bamboo Hat, Golden Rose Crown, and the Aurora Hood are all options. For bodywear, you just have the Black Gothic Dress and the Celestial Candy Cuirass. And finally, for the legwear, you have the Assassin Pants and the Arum Dragon Armor. And just like always, prioritize the crit pieces. Now on to the hidden powers. First of all, she wants to run the Fire Scrolls. But for her weapon, the hidden powers she wants are crit damage or crit rate, then fire attack, and then attack. For the headpiece, she again wants to prioritize crit rate or crit damage, attack, and then fire damage. And then for both the bodywear and the legwear, she wants to prioritize crit rate or crit damage, then attack, and then defense penetration. Just like every fighter before her, her best teammates are going to be taggers of the same element, and then obviously Rockstar. Jalapeño herself does actually benefit more from Malasauce directly, but in a mode like Infinite Labyrinth, she can pair with Terry and do some pretty nice damage. And here is the customary build thing. I didn't roll great on any of those, but hey, that's okay. I'm probably going to sack this set soon. Anyways, let's move on to the tips and tricks. So while you guys enjoy my horrible gameplay in the background, I am going to talk a little bit about how to use Jalapeño properly. So first of all, when you are using her charge attack, you ideally only want to use one charge, like one spark stack per charge attack. Now, I know it sounds tempting to use the maximum of 3 stacks because more stacks equals more damage, but the issue lies in how the stacks actually work. Using 1 spark bar, your arrow will hit 3 times. If you use 2, it'll hit 4. If you use 3, it'll hit 5. I said this earlier. But by using 2 separate charge attacks using only 2 spark stacks, it will hit for a total of 6 times. Meaning, in order to maximize your damage, you really just have to spam single bar charge attacks, which you will see me doing a lot in the background. If I accidentally fire off like an attack that has more than 1, it's probably because I just timed it wrong. But this is the main reason why people say Jalapeño is weak. It's because they don't know how to play her. Like, this is a very important aspect to playing her. And another thing is I seriously recommend getting her second promotion, because getting an extra spark stack every time you dash means you can have a spark stack up just constantly. The other thing that you should make sure you're doing is maximizing your spark stacks. Like, don't use your ultimate if you have full spark stacks, which I think I accidentally do in this gameplay. But by doing this, you are wasting free damage. So yeah, be very careful with your spark stack management. So yeah, Jalapeño is very mechanically demanding because you need to know the timing on her spark stacks and her charge attacks and making sure you can manage those properly. And if you have her second promotion, making sure you're constantly using that dash to get that extra spark stack. There's a lot you need to keep track of when playing Jalapeño, but she's honestly a ton of fun and I've enjoyed playing her in raids a lot. Oh, one final thing, make sure you remember that your charge attacks do send you backwards, like a dash, like Lemon's special skill, because that can mess you up in certain boss fights like this. So yeah, just make sure you keep that in mind as well. If you enjoyed or found this helpful, a like and a subscribe would be very appreciated. Also, make sure to join my Discord server and the Tower of Builds Discord server in the description down below. And if you're someone that stayed to the end to get more information on my guild, then let's go. So at the time of recording, some information about the guild is it's level 9. The minimum level requirement to join is 60. I will touch on that in a bit. And we currently have 4 spots open. Now, the 4 spots is bound to change because I am currently in the process of kicking inactive players from the guild, so don't worry, there will be more than 4 slots available. A few perks you get with the guild is that there's an exclusive role for guild members in my Discord server with exclusive access to just some guild channels. We are eventually going to start organizing raids, like ranked raids, champion raids, etc, etc. There's easy access to information. We are a server that is partnered with Tower of Builds, so yeah, we have access to that information, and you also do get easy access to my videos as well. The main requirements I currently have is that you need to be a minimum level of 60. You need to be able to be relatively active. You don't have to do everything every single day, but you do need to be able to do some dailies, do your weekly requests, that is a requirement, and also be able to adapt to new metas. I am also starting to ask that people that apply have cookies that are ready to play in champion raids, because we need to be able to do that whenever that comes back. There is a more in-depth information thing in my Discord server if you are very interested in that, but yeah, I will let you guys go. See you next time.